even the worst tabloid journalists ring up the source they're stalking and, you know, and say, is it true? How do you answer that?
It's not a source.
You have my number. You could have rung me at any time.
You are holding press conferences. The decision is taking place as a result of those press conferences and what you say in public.
But what I could have told you,
I do not need a private assessment.
What I could have told you, which you were, I think, completely ignorant of, is the whole series of meetings we had with Muslim groups, of whom, it has to be said, 90% were completely peaceable. And the Muslim mob that you
that's very sexy. This Muslim
that you put
mob.
in your picture with a picture of Salim Engineer. Salim Engineer is one of our speakers. He's not part of the mob. He's a completely separate guy. So we had meeting after meeting after meeting, and then we had one very scary one when we had all the groups, and we had I can't remember how many people, about 90 people. 20 or 30 different groups, and as usual, most of them were dignified, perfectly reasonable guys willing to do their democratic protest, and that's absolutely fine. We were in negotiation with them, and that was all going very well. But with them also were 15 real out-and-out scary thugs who, they were saying among themselves, had taken money, that they'd been paid by various different groups to disrupt it, come what may. And then when the guys turned up, there was, again, a properly scary moment when the Molana who led them went into the centre of Diggi Palace, had a namaz, which is fine, but then declared a jihad and said, any of you today who die, and then he said, if any of you die, we'll go to heaven as martyrs. But, and they said to us, and Sanjoy and Namita, you will not leave Jaipur. If you show this thing, you will not leave Jaipur. And this was not the 90%, this is not the Salim Engineer, this is not the nice old guys from the mosque, the local, these guys who'd come in. And they
Atush, what would you have done in that situation? If somebody told you that you will not lose Jaipur?
What William tells me, and Sanjoy has written to us, and I may read out a sentence here and maybe Seema can tell me what she thinks of it, I know what I think of it. Sanjoy writes that the youth, in preparation to an attack, marked each venue by reading from their prayer books in an act most of us are familiar with as a precursor to a holy war or fight. Now, if this is not exaggeration, tell me what is. Reading from the holding prayers, which all of us know is, which all of us are familiar with as a precursor to a holy war or fight.
In a festival,
this is
that normal.
This is what the Sanjoy Roy has written to us.
This happened immediately after Sanjoy had his life.
So this is the statement.
No, one second, William is saying something.
Meeting.
Sure, but the reading of the...
No, I agree. I think a lot of the people over there also overreacted and got hysterical and didn't were not firm enough.
Actually, I didn't see any hysteria.
No, if that's true, I'm going just by that.
No, that's not true, because I didn't see any...
This letter is true. I mean, it's a letter that is published in this issue of the...
No, the incident might be true, but I didn't see any hysteria.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is that there were only 4 or 5 moments of Rushdie in that festival. Announcement that he's coming, announcement that he's not coming, reading of the Quran, reading of the satanic verses, and then announcement of the link, and cancellation of the link. Problem here is that everybody in the rest of the country who wasn't in Jaipur thought it was all about Salman Rushdie, whereas people in the festival, it would be just a whiff of gossip going here, there, and these 5 moments.
Yeah.
Other than that, the festival went on as normal. There was no hysteria.
Madhu,
these people contained it, in fact.
Yeah.
So please continue.
I just want to say that, one thing the media has to realize, which is television and which is us as well, that when you crowd in on a person, whether it be that Muslim from the Deoband or somebody, and you try to elicit and get reactions, the person starts reacting.
I agree.
And 50 more join in because they feel that that's the way they should go. And this has happened over and over again in very, very sensitive conflict situations, that the entire media comes in like vultures. You surround the 2 people you've seen, you start pushing them, they start responding, and they say, we'll kill him, we'll do this. Whereas initially, all they wanted to do was just make a little noise.
Which is why I come back to my initial argument.
And this is what this is. This is such exaggeration.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
But there I disagree with you, Madhu, where you say there were alternative ways of covering, yes, but those alternative ways were step 2. At step 1, a mic should not have been thrust in the face of some Maulvi saying, Salman Rushdie aa rahe hain Jaipur mein, what do you have to say?
That's actually what I'm saying. What you're saying, it should not have been...
not have sought the response of the Deoband that all multiplying an artificial narrative.
No, but you're not disagreeing with me. You're agreeing with me. I'm saying that should not have been done at all.
At all.
Reporters are not used to anymore going and investigating a story. They're just getting bites. It's a bite culture. It was a story. If the Deoband
Initially, it wasn't a story.
If the Deoband has said this, expose the Deoband.
The Deoband says this every year, and it goes, it them. About a trace.
Expose their motives. Expose why they're doing it. Show liberal Muslims who don't agree with it. It's a different narrative.
Liberal Muslims were
No, you just had them on your talk shows, but there was no story done on it.
Other important point is, I mean, our special themes this year are Bhakti poetry. We have Purushottam Agarwal, we have Madan Gopal Singh, we have a lot of...
all sleep already.
We have a lot of stuff beyond the Farangi celebrities. Cover a bit of that. And it never happens. And people outside Jaipur, I mean, we have all these sort of academics in JNU moaning that Jaipur's just Oprah and a couple of foreign celebrities because they haven't seen the programme. The programme is kind of very heavily weighted between...
Kaju complained that, you know, Kabir is not being... And you had
it's our special subject. We had 15 sessions on it.
No, but stop tweeting.
Not tweeting. She's tweeting anything. I have a show in 10 minutes. Sorry. Okay.
No, what I was saying was that supposing you had done it differently, all right? Don't you think that the result would have been that Rushdie might have actually been able to come if we hadn't hyped it up so much?
The big mistake is that initial, what do you have to say about Salman Rushdie coming? Everything spiraled out of control from that point.
But your channel was part of it, no?
No, our channel actually did not cover the story. No, there's evidence of this. The first week, we did not cover the story. I tweeted about it. It's on record. I tweeted about it.
NDTV is so beige, it's boring.
Now you want sides now. You can't have it both ways. You can't have worthy and interesting all at once. I like Times now.
You're running neck to neck on educational documentaries on BBC.
Madhu, come on. Sometimes you've got to stand up for something.
I want to add to what Madhu was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, why should the choice be between no coverage and excessive coverage? Why can't it be coverage in a perspective where you cover the story, but don't get hysterical about it? Bring in the various dimensions to the story. Rushdie not coming in was going to be a story. So maybe that, you know, just being out of that space doesn't really handle the problem. Because then you have to jump into that
once
space.
Once he was not coming, you had to do the story. I'm saying the point at which I felt it should have been ignored was the issue, the threat from the Deoband. At that point, I feel if it had not been mainlined, it would not have become such a big story. Once it had, after that we were all covering the story.
No, but I go back to
after that also.
What if you had exposed that the Deoband had this motivation?
There are a lot of people out here who do want to kill Rushdie.
Madhu, you had the main ruling party of this country participating in the politics that was created to keep Rushdie from coming.
But that was not exposed in any of the channels properly. It was just mentioned by a few panelists.
No, when no one was willing to take ownership of the intelligence.
No story was done on it.
One minute. When no one was willing to take ownership of the intelligence, when everybody kept passing the buck, Mumbai first said, oh, we don't know where this came from from the centre. Centre said it came from Rajasthan. Rajasthan said it came from the centre. This story was done. Who owns the so-called intelligence?
Well, that's quite an easy question.
That story was done.
Gurdial Singh IAS.
It came from the Home Minister of Rajasthan. Who got it from the Rajasthan IB. It wasn't from Bombay Police.
This was this Gurdial Singh IAS officer who issued a statement that these are the threats.
But it's important point because again, Hartoshley's article says, you know, the threat to him was largely an exercise of fiction. It's quite possible, and it's difficult to judge whether or not that specific 3 names given by the Intelligence Bureau was as fishy as Rushdie thought it was. Quite possible that he's right. But from what I saw, and from what Sanjoy and Namita saw at the meeting, I have no doubt in my mind that there would have been a significant threat to Rushdie from a very small group of nasties. That they were out to do all they could. And it's a big thing for them. Had they got Rushdie, it's only one entrance to that place.
Forget about Rushdie. Exactly, the exit points
had 2 weeks' notice
of thousands of people to leave a venue. There would have been a stampede, even if there was somebody had just raised their voices and got hysterical. If somebody had pushed the screen down, that's a real threat. In fact, many people mentioned that if something were to happen, which are the exit points? And most of the venues only had 2. So that's for 10,000 people to leave from a small gate to just 2 points. It's dangerous.